Hello everyone. In our last class, we have completed about luminous object. So let's once again children revise that much. All objects are grouped into luminous and non-luminous object. So what are the luminous objects children? Objects that give out light are called luminous object. The sun, stars, fireflies, emits their own lights and are called natural luminous objects. At night, we use many objects to light our houses, street, and neighborhood. For example, bulb, candles, torch, headlight of motor vehicles, etc. These are called man-made luminous objects. Objects that do not emit light of their own are called non-luminous objects, like book, glass, pencil, table are example of non-luminous objects. So today's children, let's continue with shadow. So first let's know about shadow. What is shadow? Stand in the open ground under the sun. Look at the ground. What do you see? You can see your dark image on the ground. This is called shadow. Stand in the open ground under the sun. Okay, if you want to see your shadow children, you have to stand under the sun in the open ground or anywhere where the sun light is coming. There you stand and you can see your dark image on the ground. That is called shadow. Here one activity is given children. Try to do it yourself. Take a torch, switch it on at night. Keep your hand in front of the torch light. What do you observe? You can see a dark image of your hand on the wall. This activity you can easily do it in a home. Okay children, so try to do it yourself and see your shadow image. Now, a shadow is formed when an object blocks the path of light. Light travels in a straight line. A shadow is always formed on the opposite side of light. Light does not require any medium to travel. Children, light travels in a straight line. And a shadow is formed when an object blocks the path of light. जिस साइड से लाइट आती होगी, अगर आप उस लाइट को ब्लॉक कर देते हैं तो उसकी ऑपोजिट साइड्स में आपको उसकी शैडो दिखाई देगा. इससे ये पता चलता है कि लाइट जो है स्ट्रेट लाइन में ट्रेवल करती है. सो here we completing shadow children. See, here the shadow is showing you in the picture. The side of a shadow may be short or long depending on the position of the light source. In the morning and evening, when the sun is at the horizon, the shadow is long. At noon, when the sun is overhead, the shadow is short. See from these pictures, children, in the morning and evening time, when the sun is at horizon, the shadow is long. See in both the picture, in the first and the last picture, both picture the shadow is long. But at noon time, when the sun is overhead, that time the shadow is short. Means in the middle picture, this is the afternoon time and the shadow is very short as compared to the morning and evening shadow. Okay children, so from this we comes to know that in the morning and evening time shadow is long and at afternoon time the shadow is short. So here children we are completing shadow. Now let's start solar and lunar eclipses. Solar and lunar eclipses. See children, you know the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Through the day, you see the sun moving slowly from the east to west. Children, as you all know, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. This through the day, you see the sun moving slowly from east to west, from the morning to the night, evening, how the sun is moving. The sun moving slowly from east to west. Now you see what's happened. Our earth goes around the sun on a fixed path. It also spins on its own axis. Our earth goes around the sun. Children, sun is not moving. Okay. It is the earth goes around the sun on a fixed path. It also spins on its own axis. It also moves around its own axis also, and it also moves around the sun also. When the sun's light falls on the part of the earth, it is day. When the sunlight falls on a part of the earth, it is day, and other part it is night. The moon goes around the earth on the fixed path too, and the moon goes around the earth on a fixed path too. It also spins on its own axis. The moon does not have its own light. It reflects the light of the sun. The moon does not have its own light. It reflects the lights of the sun. Children, here the moon also goes around the earth on a fixed path. And as you know, the earth goes around the sun. And the earth also spins on its own axis. When the moon comes between the sun and the earth, when the moon comes between sun and the earth, the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. Then we cannot see the sun partially or completely. This is called solar eclipse. When the moon comes between the sun and the earth. In between the sun and the earth, the moon comes. That time, the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. Then we cannot see the sun partially or completely. This is called solar eclipse. Okay, children? Now, when the sun comes between the sun and the moon, when the earth comes between the sun and the moon, the shadow of the earth falls on the moon. Then we cannot see the moon partially or completely. This is called lunar eclipse. See children, here the difference between the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. In solar eclipse, the moon comes between the sun and the earth. But in lunar eclipse, when the earth comes between the sun and the moon. In solar eclipse, we cannot see the sun partially. But in lunar eclipse, we cannot see the moon partially. Okay, so these are some different points between solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. The first picture is your solar eclipse, and here the second picture is your lunar eclipse. So here children, we completing solar and lunar eclipse. Hope you all understand. If you can't understand, then again in my next class I will repeat this much, means your solar eclipse and lunar eclipses. So read all this again and again and try to understand. Okay children, thank you.